today I'm going to show you how to automate your website deployment so you can spend more time making cool features customers love and less time fixing the build and dealing with random issues and just being slow. Automating deployments is the first thing I do whenever I join any new company. Now, I hate wasting my time waiting for something to build and deploy. Instead of checking YouTube or Reddit while I'm waiting, I use that build time to figure out ways to automate deployments so I don't have to wait as long the next time. These are the steps I follow whenever I run into a new deployment process that needs optimizing at any new company I join. Step 1, make a checklist. Don't start by installing some shiny new orchestration tool. We don't need Kubernetes, we don't need machine learning, we just need a list. We have to learn to walk before we can run here. Now, people love to work out this optimal solution that'll take months and months and months instead of just doing the simple, small next step. Now, especially if you're new to the team, you won't have the social capital to get buy-in for a long-winded new deploy project anyway. So what can you do instead? Just create a checklist in the README file in the very root folder of the project. Not only will this help any new teammate deploy the project, but frankly, it's gonna help you remember all the steps too. Also, you'll need these steps written down anyway to figure out what to automate next when you get around to installing that shiny new orchestration tool. Like, you have to do this work ahead of time anyway, so you might as well just do it now. Here's an example of what the section in a README file might look like. You might say, step 1, tag @everyone in #engineering on Slack with the message, getting ready to deploy. Step 2, go to this website, copy the API key. You get the idea. Notice we have not changed any of the steps. Even if there's some kind of dumb steps in here, we keep them the same. We're just writing them down. Now, if you're like most engineers, your spidey senses are gonna start tingling. Like, why don't we combine step 3 with step 4? Why don't we combine upload zip to prod sh with upload zip to EU sh just right now? It's only gonna take me 10 minutes. Just stop. The goal is to assemble the steps into one place first. We want to get a small win within the first day. We don't want to be stuck coding ourselves in a corner here. Just make a checklist. Now, after we've made a checklist, it's time to move to step 2, make a shell script. We're still not going to automate anything in this shell script just quite yet. All I want you to do is take that text list and start putting it in a bash file. We don't need to automate everything all at once. For anything that's too tricky to automate at first, like maybe there's a manually performed smoke test. In our shell script, we just echo the steps into the shell to remind engineers to do them. So we would literally write echo, manually check these 3 URLs, press enter to continue. Now, this is not a perfect solution, but it's the difference between shipping something today that works and provides value to the whole engineering team and just waiting around until everything is perfect. Pro tip, it never gets perfect. The other benefit of converting our README file to a shell script is that team members are more likely to fix a shell script than to update a README file. Even if the fix in the shell script is just changing an echo statement from manually check these 3 URLs to manually check these 4 URLs, it will get changed a lot faster than updating a README file. Step 3, add that script to a GitHub action or Jenkins. Now, if you don't have a CI/CD tool set up and already are using GitHub, I recommend just using GitHub Actions. It's super simple, you don't have to install anything else, and you're probably already paying for it under your GitHub enterprise account by accident already. In the short term, yes, you will have to worry about GitHub Actions going down, but that can be handled later by setting up custom GitHub Actions runners later. That's fine, that's like step 6. We're at step 3 right now. If the action does go down while you're setting things up, you can always run the action from your computer manually using a tool like Act if you're in a pinch. Now, here's an example of a simple GitHub action I use to deploy www.jameshutch.com every time there's a push to the main branch. As you can see here, this is a really simple kind of like rsync FTP setup. It's literally just uploading files from one folder from one computer to another folder on another computer using FTP. And I stored the FTP secrets in GitHub Actions. Nothing crazy. Remember, if you do have an ops or DevOps team who likes things done a certain way, work with them, not against them, to help you make your dreams come true. Remember, your end goal is to automate deployments, not to introduce new tech for the sake of it. You want to be able to make friends with the DevOps team, not enemies. The next step now is to reinvest your newfound time. Now that you have some of this automated, you're not going to be spending an hour every other day doing a site deploy, you're probably only going to be spending like maybe 15 minutes, and eventually you can reduce that even less and less. Now that you have a deployment pipeline set up, here's some other ideas for other things you can add to this deployment pipeline. For example, you could add the Slack notify step into your GitHub action to remove that manual update step, the manual step where you're letting people know on Slack you're doing an update. You could create a simple end-to-end test to replace that manual smoke test of hard reloading Firefox. Bonus points if you make it work in mobile Safari too. Even if it just checks the homepage, it's amazing how much just checking the homepage is going to do for you. Another idea is you could set something up like semantic releases to automatically generate new release notes and then post them in a Slack thread so you know and your teammates know, and more importantly, your customers know about new changes. Now this list goes on and on and on. The point is each of these is a separate task. You can write it up as a ticket in Jira or whatever, and they're all separate pull requests too. You don't have to have this all finished all at once. You can ship the first parts of this first. Here's a couple of action items you can do next. 1. Make a checklist of your current deployment process. Create a pull request and post it for your coworkers today. If there are some steps that are missing, reach out to people on your team or other teams and ask them in the pull request itself to update that list. Don't just ask them on Slack. You want to get this pull request merged in as soon as possible. Action item 2. By the end of the week, convert this checklist into a shell script. Remember to just echo to prompt users to manually execute steps you can't automate by the end of the week. Finally, by the end of next week, migrate your script to a job runner like GitHub Actions and get it running. Thanks again for watching the videos. Remember to hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment. I'd love to see it. Until then, I'll catch you in the next video.